Video Game Deep KC's weekly newsletter from video game industry. Watcher, Simon Carless, DD, Gamasutra Code Runner. Rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include creators building tiny houses in The Sims, impressions of BioWare's much-anticipated Anthem, a whole bunch of new games to check out from the Resident Evil booked to future grind through natural exodus, and a whole bunch more, actually, almost to the finish line on Programming Game Developers Conference 2019 content. Particularly happy with Vision Track picks this year. From Disney Imagineering throughout on brain-computer interfaces. But lots more big talk announcements this week, including Tetris Effect, Move Crash, a Panzer Dragoon Classic post-mortem, and so on and so forth. We'll try hard, at least, until next time. Simon, curator. Did mine dial faster? Goes 10-1 against the top. StarCraft 2nd. Pros. A Daedalinger Engadget article. After laying lost to the best Go players in the world, DeepMind has moved on to computer games. The Google-owned artificial intelligence company has been fine-tuning its iTotalki on StarCraft, and today showed off its first head-to-head matches against professional gamers. An extreme sports game with a story. Future Green's developers talk cyberpunk. Samuel X on Ars Technical article. NOWFUTURIGINDIS here, and I am enjoying it just as much as I expected. In it, you ride bikes on rail-based tracks, and perform stunts that draw from popular extreme sports titles, Equally Ole, SSX, and most of all trios. But there are all sorts of unique spins, but only sort of intended, made possible by the game's futuristic setting. How Resident Evil 2 fell apart, then became one of Capcom's biggest hits. Alex on the Polygon article. Compared to Mega Man and Street Fighter, the first Resident Evil was a more immediate success, putting it ahead of Capcom's historical course. Resident Evil 2 was thus born, for Capcom to maintain its momentum in the newly christened survival horror genre, though Resident Evil 2 had to be better than its predecessor, much like Mega Man 2 and Street Fighter 2. Road to If, Jeremy Gabl West WATCH Me Jump, Joku Gamasutra article. Gamasutra sat down with Jeremy Gabl, developer of the Excellence in Narrative Nomina technology Me Jump, to talk about the similarities between theater and games, how he took a play about the WNBA and made a game of it, and the importance of having imperfect choices in interactive fiction. Simon, as note, lots more great if game case popping up on Gamasutra, including Gray Bruxner's The Haunted Island Mirror Drop, among others. When risking everything pays off Cuphead. Levels. Red Bull YouTube video. 5 years. 3 world records. 1 family. Meet Studio Miri, the makers of Cuphead. The game was built entirely by hand from their own home, with over 3 million copies sold. They reveal the untold tale behind their record-breaking game. While Resident Evil 2, and City of the Dead discusses, Exodu Eurogamer article, if Rome rose on dead shoppers, Indo, as a sneer at the narcotic lullaby of consumerism, then what more succinct symbol of a city helplessly disarmed is there than a police station commanded by the dead? Even better if that police station happens to have been a museum. Simon, as note, also this more straightforward motherboard review. PIKUNIKUS not your average game about a red blob with legs, caps a McDonald Kotaku article. Do you want to feel like you have taken something mildly hallucinogenic, and you are watching foreign language Kings TV? I have got the game for you. The new PC on the Switch Gamasutra has been one of the few bright spots, farming in what has felt like an overly long tenured era. Fortnite's floating sphere exploded, leaving the island covered in snow on zombies and robusta. The Verge article. Fortnite's latest mystery is finally starting to unravel. Not long ago, a floating sphere made a voice appeared in the game, leaving many players to wonder just what was going on. Now we have an answer. Sort of. It exploded, and a mysterious figure inside, called the Eyes King, created a massive storm, which covered the entire island in snow. Simon, as note, this Fortnite environmental storytelling is actually in the great checkout updated history of recent events in this post. Anthem feels as good as Destiny, but has BioWare's creative touch. In Campbell Polygon article. Although a shared world shooter is a departure from BioWare's solid action RPG history, Anthem retains enough of the developer's creative signature to mark it as more than just an attempt to regain ground lost to the genuine innovation that was Destiny. Also see coverage from The Verge. Diablo Jr. Inside short-lived Pokemon inspired Prey. Diablo Immortal mobile game. Mad Pro-Ski Variety article. Some 60 years before the announcement of Diablo Immortal, Blizzard's Dungeon Hunting hack-and-slash series nearly went on the go. Not on mobile phones, that tech was not there. Rather, Diablo Mastered came to life on an Nintendo platform, designing the sublimely soothing mobile game. Valleys Between. Jogoku Gamasutra article. Valleys Between is a game of nurturing nature, of protecting a valley. It's a game that puts nature at your fingertips, having you help guide the growth of your valley by swiping up or down, growing grass and trees with emotion. Through your touch, you will bring animals and life to this place, and hopefully balance to a crumbling world. Nearly 50% of devs support unionization. Promoted the State of the Industry report at Exodu Game Developers Conference article report. The survey compiles responses from nearly 4,000 game developers and reflects that nearly half of game developers support game industry unionization, as well as uncertainty around Steam's revenue-sharing model, and insights into the amount of time developers have spent working overtime hours in so-called crunch. Simon, just note, all kinds of great data here on what devs are currently thinking. Why Maggie D. colleagues? The promise of a game world you can teach. James Holland, Eurogamer article. I am led into a room containing a bank of computers. I am ushered, cheerfully enough, to the first station. There's a mouse, a keyboard, and something keyboard-esque, but square, and without symbols on each of its black keys. On the monitor is a basic, 90, best-looking floating bubble screen server. I am not sure this is what I expected. Facebook knowingly duped them playing kids and their parents out of money. Nathan Halverson review article. Facebook orchestrated a multi-year effort that duped children and their parents out of money, in some cases hundreds, or even thousands of dollars, and then often refused to give the money back, according to court documents, unsealed tonight. In response to a review legal action, the records are part of a class action lawsuit, focused on how Facebook targeted children in an effort to expand revenue for online games, such as Angry Birds, Petview and Ninja Soccer. After 3 hours of natural exodus, I was surprised by how much I loved Austin Walker Waypoint article. Listen up. A rough voice crackles over the radio. The Baron is about to speak. The Baron, I have come to understand, is the leader of the Munai Bela, or Ulrich, a group of slavers that have a stranglehold on the desert wasteland's oil, and then, without missing a beat, The voice of the henchman returns with similar cadence. When his bots blew up, Twitter moved to the suburbs. Gregory Laporati Engadget article. Even in a packed arcade, David Mayman stands out from the crowd. Has wearing a black t-shirt with multicolored arrows darting across the front. His long, dark hair curling down to his shoulders as he walks into his local arcade in suburban Long Island. Has almost like a celebrity, shaking hands with the manager, snapping selfies with fellow players, and cheering on his friends as they set high scores. Sea of Thieves is enjoying a resurgence on Twitch. Cat's Marshall Polygon article. Sea of Thieves is enjoying an excellent start to 2019. After a series of free expansion packs, events, and balanced weeks throughout 2018, the game is getting a whole new audience. Thanks to some of the biggest names on Twitch, the most recent expansion pack, Shrouded Spoils, is largely to thank for the recent surge of interest in the game.